There's nothing quite like an international break for people to just lose it for no apparent reason, isn't it? Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Today, we're going to discuss whether or not Frank Lampard's Chelsea are in the 2019-2020 Premier League title race. But before we get into that, I've been asked about 1,000,000 times. Well, that's an exaggeration of the highest order, but so is the reaction, really. That's a massive exaggeration too. I've been asked to talk about the Jose Mourinho comments on Sky Sports after Liverpool versus Manchester City, when Mourinho was asked about Chelsea this season. And obviously then there is the Jody Morris response on Instagram, which was just a banterous kind of laughing at Jose kind of thing, probably fueled by some behind the scenes stuff that's gone on between those two over the years. But the point of the matter is, and I don't want to spend the whole video talking about this, Jose Mourinho made a very valid point in the Sky Sports studio after that Liverpool game. Chelsea have done very well so far under Frank Lampard. The praise that Mourinho gave him was obviously 100% warranted, valid and necessary. We all know that the relationship between Frank Lampard and Jose Mourinho over the years has been a beautiful one. It's been a special one. Jose Mourinho is probably one of the main reasons why Frank Lampard became the Chelsea player that he was. And as a coach, we know that Frank Lampard will be looking up to Mourinho for all of the things that he learned as a player, now as a manager, that Mourinho's taught him over the years. So there's always that mutual respect. Mourinho also came out and said a point that was also extremely valid, that Chelsea have played 3 matches against top 6 clubs so far, 2 against United, 1 against Liverpool, and we've lost all 3 of them, and we go to the Etihad next weekend, and that is a real test as to the steel of this Chelsea team, and whether or not, as Jose Mourinho said, we can keep this balance between the pragmatism and also the attractive football that has seen us do so well in recent weeks. So everything that Jose Mourinho said, in my opinion, was correct. It was valid in terms of the way that Mourinho comes across as a pundit. There isn't really anybody else like him in terms of the knowledge and understanding that Jose Mourinho has of football. Whether or not you think he's a quality manager from his recent jobs or not, it's beyond the point. The man knows what he's talking about, particularly as a pundit. Jody Morris then comes out with a typical Jody banterous kind of thing, and now everyone's blowing it out of proportion. And I think, quite frankly, it's because we're all a bit bored that we know we're not going to have much to talk about over the next week or so until the Premier League is back. So I just think everyone needs to just relax. Everything was blown a little bit out of proportion. Yes, some could argue that Jody Morris might make Chelsea look a bit silly if we go and get beat 6-0 at the Etihad like we did last year. But A, I don't think that's going to happen, and B, at the end of the day, if we all want to bring it back to a little Instagram story instead of talking about the football, then I think we've all got our priorities a little bit wrapped around the wrong thing in the first place. So without any further ado, we move on from that and we bring it back to one of Chelsea's games against the Big Six. Let's just throw it back to a couple of months ago. Liverpool come to Stamford Bridge. Trent Alexander-Arnold puts in an absolute rocket into the top corner. No chance for Kepa to save it. We're playing against the European champions, we're playing against the early pace setters in the Premier League. We go 2-0 down, second half, we come out a completely different team. And that game, that moment was the catalyst for the turn of form of Frank Lampard's Chelsea. N'Golo Kante takes on half of the Liverpool team, sticks one in the top corner. Chelsea have got Liverpool with their backs against the wall, and for the rest of that game, we were by far the better team, and we probably deserved a draw from that match. Now we fast forward to 6 weeks. I remember that I did say, looking at the next 6 Premier League fixtures, they were all winnable matches. Now I sit here in a brand new apartment, Stamford fridge is long gone, we've now got a dishwasher that makes a racket. You can probably hear it right now in the background, or maybe you can't. All of you said that you could never hear the fridge in the first place. Maybe it's just in my head. Maybe it is, I don't know. 6 games later, Chelsea have actually won all of those fixtures. Manchester City, they're not quite clicking the way people thought they would. Arsenal, Man United and Spurs, hello down there in 14th place. Leicester are the team that are in second. Chelsea joint second ahead of Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Before we get into any are Chelsea in the title race, can we just take a moment, smack a flipping like rating on this video whilst we're at it, and just say how flipping good it feels to have a Chelsea team winning football matches, playing nice attractive football, and improving week by week all across the board, be it tactically, the management, the man management of individuals from Frank Lampard has been absolutely sublime, and it feels flipping good to be sat here during this international break, level with Leicester, joint second in the Premier League table, behind the Liverpool side who, let's not beat around the bush here. Liverpool, this is a very good Liverpool team. I will respect their manager. Jurgen Klopp has done absolute wonders at that club. He's got them playing relentless football, they're winning every single week. They're looking like they're probably going to go on and win the title this season. But that being said, we're talking about a team who have a history of slipping up, to pardon the pun, of what's happened in the past, you know? They're a team who have thrown away Premier Leagues from their clutches. We're talking it's still very early in the season, and it would be foolish at this point to write anyone else off, particularly Frank Lampard's Chelsea, who have won 6 on the spin and are looking better week by week. We've also got to give some brilliant respect to what Brendan Rodgers is doing at Leicester City right now. I saw them score 9 goals away from home at Southampton, the biggest Premier League away win ever. Then they dismantled Arsenal, making them look bang average, which quite frankly, they are bang average really, aren't they? Let's be real. But Leicester, they're beating things that are put in front of them. They're also ahead of Manchester City, and let's also put some respect on that Manchester City team. Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers of all time, and he's probably got one of the best Manchester City squads there's ever been, obviously for that club and also in the Premier League as well. Last season, they beat this Liverpool team that we're talking about by 1 point. They also were the champions of Europe. So this Man City team is something decent, and right now, I'll be completely honest, they've not had the rub of the green in terms of injuries. They've got a load of injuries defensively. They're also missing the leader that is Vincent Kompany, who's come in since the money came in, and he was that leader, that man that took them from being a club who had a load of money to a team who had someone who could guide them to Premier League titles. So in terms of this title race, we're still so early in the season that we can't just say, well, we're all fighting for second place because Liverpool have already won it. There's a lot of football still to be played, and I still believe that we've not seen the best out of Man City this season, and it would just be sod's law that, you know, having been beaten by Liverpool, they've got their tails up now, they need to chase things, they will come out and play against us next week. And, you know, Chelsea are going to have their work cut out. It's going to be the trickiest game since that Liverpool game, and, you know, we've won every single match since. We'll talk about Chelsea in a moment, but we cannot start thinking that just because Liverpool have got an 8-point lead over Leicester and Chelsea and a 9-point lead over Manchester City, that it's already done and dusted. It certainly isn't. I also think it's absolutely crazy how some people, supposedly in the know in football, think that because it's a surprise that both Leicester and Chelsea are joint second in the Premier League right now, you know, it's just a bit of a fluke at this stage, and quite frankly, it's still only a 2-horse race between both Liverpool and Manchester City. I can totally see where someone would think that if they're not actually flipping watching football, mate. I'm sorry, but if you don't think that Leicester and Chelsea are involved at this point in time in the title race this season come May, then I don't think you've been watching as much football as you'd like to say that you have, quite frankly, because, you know, with 13 games or 12 games, is it, one of the two, into the season right now, that's a lot of football. It gets to the point where you have to stop saying like, oh, it's still early in the season and all that stuff. We've played a third of the season already, and it's at this point now where you start to see form created. If you remember back to Chelsea's Antonio Conte title-winning season, we went on a run around the same time that really transformed our season, and we picked up so many points, which meant that even at Christmas, if people didn't think we were going to win it, we had such brilliant momentum going into the latter stages of the season that it was inevitable that we were going to be there or thereabouts, and we ended up running away with the title. This Leicester City team as well, you look at the squad they've got now compared to the title-winning squad, and minus Riyad Mahrez and N'Golo Kante, I'd say that they've probably strengthened that team a little bit now. Harry Maguire's been sold, and then you've got Sionku's come in, and he's looking like a world beater. So Leicester are playing some good stuff too. Yes, Liverpool are above and beyond right now in terms of the points. I don't think necessarily over recent weeks they've been playing at their best, yet they're still winning. So give respect where it's due. Liverpool are well and truly leagues above everybody else at this point. However, let me focus on Chelsea for a moment, and this video is about Chelsea. It's about Frank Lampard in his first season in the Premier League as Chelsea manager. What has he done? Bringing it back to that Liverpool game again. He has brought everybody together and said, look, we've got quality. Whether we're young, whether we're inexperienced or not, there is evident quality in this team. We're seeing tactical decisions being made, we're seeing substitutions being made at the right time, and we are seeing this pragmatism that's been brought up so often that is enabling us to win matches. 6 wins in a row in the Premier League is title-winning form. Although, I don't want to get too carried away and think, yeah, we're going to win the league, Liverpool are going to do what they always do and slip up and it's going to be there for the taking for us. I don't think that's going to happen under this Jurgen Klopp team. I do still believe, like I did when I made my Premier League predictions video at the start of the season, that Liverpool will win the Premier League title this season. But if you write Chelsea off of the title race, at this point in time, it would be a foolish thing to do because we are winning matches, we're We're only going to get better. We've still got players to come back from injury. We've never had a full strength squad yet this season. So I think that if you're looking at the failures of everyone else around us, the top four looks like it could be there for us to take right now. And I also think with the rest of the team struggling too, the title race, it is a conversation that needs to be had. But I also want to bring it back to an element of realism, and I take us back to when this channel was born during pre-season this season, and I remember saying that if Frank Lampard can drive this Chelsea team into the top four this season, then I will be absolutely over the moon. The key thing right now for myself, for Chelsea players, for the management, for the fans, for everybody, is to not forget this season was supposed to be a transition. And if we're talking right now about being involved in a title conversation, that's all it is. It's a conversation that it's a bit of a pipe dream. It's possible, but still highly unlikely. We've got to remember that. We also need to remember that if we do end up finishing simply fourth, where right now we're joint second, it would still be a massive success. And I think the majority of what is going to be considered the success of this Frank Lampard team will be seen over the coming years. I think that this Chelsea team, they're so young and so talented already, yet they're performing so well. I do think in the next 10 years, we will win as many Premier League titles as anybody else. That is a statement that I don't mind being clipped up. I firmly believe that, and if we come back in 10 years time and I've got a couple of little kids who I'm taking to football myself, who knows, that might happen, you might look at this statement I'm making right now in November 2019 and think, what an absolute idiot, what's he talking about? But from what we've seen in the early stages of Frank Lampard's tenure, from what we've seen of the players like, for example, Reece James, who I think is going to go on to be a Chelsea legend, Mason Mount, who's delivering the goods, Tammy Abraham, who looks like a proper Chelsea striker for many years to come, the list could go on, and I think that the best is yet to come from this Chelsea team. And right now, as fans, I think it's really important to really enjoy this moment, to understand, bringing it back to Mourinho's points, that in order for this Chelsea team to go from being very good to great, we do need to get results against the Big Six. And if we go to the Etihad and win, my lord, am I going to go crazy. I'm flying to Valencia on Monday morning from Stansted Airport, and, well, blimey, I don't know what, that week is going to be crazy. Honestly, this international break is annoying, but the next two away games, flipping heck, I'm going to both of them, and I cannot wait, because what Frank Lampard has done is he's united the whole club. I've said it in every single video I've made this season, and that feeling is also something that you cannot underestimate in football, which is why Chelsea really are in this race, because the feel-good factor translates to the players, it translates to the fans, and that really does make a difference week on week in the performances of the team. And I think at the moment, particularly our form away from home, you can't underestimate the support from people like myself and the rest of the away fans on the sidelines. I definitely feel as though everything is being transmitted the right way right now within this Chelsea team. This season, we need to make sure we still temper the expectations, but we also need to be realistic and say that at this point, we've made such a great start to the season that the top four now is a real serious possibility for us. And it's up to us now to continue to play the way we've been playing, to grind out results, to play this good football and still win games in the fashion we have been away from home. It's really important that we do not let this momentum slide. And it's also really important that as fans, if we bring it back to the Jody Morris and Jose Mourinho comments, if we do lose to Manchester City 6 weeks ago, we'd have all thought that it was going to be a given anyway, because City are so good and, you know, it's still like early stages and whatever. Manchester City are still a very good team, and they could easily beat us in next week's game at the Etihad Stadium. And it's up to us as fans to not get too carried away, but also let's be realistic and realise that we're in a very good position. So the title race, in order to round up this video, it is a conversation that should be had. We shouldn't be written off, but we also shouldn't be too outlandish with our expectations. We should still be hoping that the top four this season would be a huge success for Frank Lampard and this Chelsea team. So yeah, hopefully that gives you my opinion on whether or not I think we are in the title race. I think that Liverpool are very, very good. We mustn't take anything away from the competition. Liverpool have been fantastic. They are one of the best Premier League teams we have seen in recent years. And right now, they are the overriding favourites for the title. But as long as Chelsea keep doing what they're doing, Man City aren't going anywhere. Some people might think that they're just going to collapse, but it's not going to happen. There's too much quality across that whole squad. Pep Guardiola, he knows what he's doing. He has a little bit of a moan at VAR. He has a bit of a moan about everything when it's not going his way, because he's used to things going his way. When you're used to things going your way, 9 times out of 10, they will probably go your way. It's just life. It's just what happens. I want to know what you guys have to say about this one. It's been like a little bit of a ramble from me in this video, but I think at the moment that's all it needs to be for Chelsea in terms of making sure we don't get too carried away, but really appreciating where we're at and where we could be in the future with Frank Lampard. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously it is an international break, but that doesn't mean videos stop here on the George Benson Football channel. I'll be bringing you guys videos pretty much every single day unless something crazy happens, so make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button if you did enjoy this little conversation we've had today, and as always, it doesn't stop here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.